You just got to go all in, and you for Christmas. Just yeah, shame, inhibitions out the window, pride, all of that. Forget about it.
Agreed. So have you got a Christmas pudding outfit, Di, or what are you talking?
Kath and I got some great Christmas jumpers from Camden last year. We didn't get enough use out of them, so I'll be bringing one of those bad boys up, I think. Yeah,
Bring it up every day.
come on.
Baubles over the ears like earrings as well. Anyone else? Noel, do people annoyingly make reference to your name and Christmas or sing songs around you? And do you mind if they do?
They do that, and I don't mind. It's okay.
Ah, because you smiled. You quite like
Yeah.
And
you
she's the
love
first
Christmas.
Noel to say that.
Wow. That
Oh,
very
love
good.
that. Love that. Hi, Rachel. We're
Hello.
talking about Christmas outfits. Has anybody got a new top, a new jumper, a new bauble for their tree? Any upgrades this year on their Christmas stash? Anybody?
Rachel,
Yeah, but I have got a hat.
Oh, Rachel, that suits you actually. You're a good hat wearer. You should definitely sport hats more often. Anyone
has
else?
some
How
t-shirt from Tesco that says Howdy Christmas and it's got a pair of like cowboy boots on and it's bright pink. It's very fabulous and sparkly because I think my theory is that Christmas jumpers are made for like Christmas carolers. They're always so thick, they're so warm. And I'm meant to wear it to party indoors with other humans. So I was like, no, I'm getting a t-shirt because I can't do the thick jumper and they're all so synthetic and nasty. So yeah, Howdy Christmas t-shirt it is.
That sounds amazing. I think a Christmas t-shirt, underrated item.
Swim.
I've got an old-fashioned Coca-Cola Christmas t-shirt. I love it. Yeah,
Oh, that's good. That sounds good.
it's great. It's great.
They've changed the Coca-Cola Christmas ad. Have you noticed?
No.
Haven't
I
making a
haven't seen
note,
it
making a
yet.
note to watch that. Go on.
And this year, I can't remember what it was. It was a few weeks ago. I saw it now, but they don't. You know how you used to see the train kind of leaving,
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
the trucks or something. I
the
don't
truck.
think,
Yeah, the truck.
Yeah.
but it wasn't as nostalgic as it used to be, which was a
Yeah,
shame.
Che mentioned that yesterday. I've not seen it, but he said it's kicked off a storm apparently because people weren't happy with it because it wasn't the traditional kind of nostalgic truck coming.
But it's got people talking by the sounds of things. Any other Christmas ads that people have been enjoying? I've been enjoying John Lewis.
Yes.
James is obsessed now with Where Love Lives, that song, with that old guy having a
Mm,
boogie, and then he goes back into his clubbing days, and we've
Not
had
old
very
guy,
cool.
Laura.
our age. I
Yes.
know, I know. I'm sort of being rude about James's music tastes, but yeah, it's very cool, isn't it?
It's a cool lad.
The
Really cool.
reconciliation. You like it, Di, as well, with all your
I did
experience of
enjoy
making
it.
vids.
Yeah, did enjoy it. It just captures nostalgia beautifully, doesn't it? And the relationship between the father and son, I think, yeah, is great.
Yeah, and I think we can probably all relate in our families to relationships not always being straightforward. So the reconciliation piece is really powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Sadly,
Any
it hasn't beat the Edgar the Little Dragon one for me. That's my favorite John Lewis had to date.
Oh, Edgar, yeah, yeah.
Edgar the Dragon.
Have you not seen him? And
Really
Oh,
cute.
he sets fire to everything, and they
Ah,
find something that's good for him to set fire to, a Christmas pudding, and it's all like,
I
oh
mean,
yeah.
I'm Welsh, dragons on our flag, so I need to be checking that out.
it's really
R
cute.
Rich, have you seen it? Rachel, have you seen the
Oh,
dragon?
you're on mute, Rach. Is this because she's Welsh, Di? Is that why you're?
Because
You
she's
said
Welsh.
Rich. I was looking to see who Rich was.
Oh, Rich.
That's rich coming from you, Rachel. Have you
Oh,
seen
very
Have you
good.
seen
No,
the
I
Very
dragon?
haven't
good.
seen
Well, this
it.
leads us on beautifully, Katie. Thank you for mentioning him. So he couldn't find anything that his gift was useful for until he found the Christmas pudding. So there's a beautiful link there with our theme for today, and you're in for a treat. So even if you have come across our key tool, our sort of signature tool, the Five Voices, many times, I'm actually putting my business on the line here to say there will be new insights for you today. So let's jump in
Mm,
to that. Can you all see my screen and the quotations therewith?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so two things. Comparison is the thief of joy, Theodore Roosevelt said, or it's attributed to him anyway. Do not compare yourself to others, says the Bible a little bit more simply, 2 Corinthians 10 to 12. Why is comparison the thief of joy? Well, because if we spend all our time, and let's be honest, some of us spend a lot of time thinking about what we don't have, what we don't offer, and what we haven't got, rather than thinking about what we do have. What do we have in our hand? And I think about the parable of the 5 fish and the loaves. There wasn't much food to go around. Disciples were fixated on what wasn't there. There was no shop. There were no packed lunches except this one little packed lunch of this guy's. But he had it. He had it in his hand and he offered it. And it became this amazing provision. So what do we have? And that's true, isn't it, of our personality, of our giftings, of our skills and our strengths offering. And, it's just such an important aspect of worship is to be aware of who we are and who God's made us to be and what therefore we have to offer. And then putting those people around us who have other things that actually correspond and that complement what we have to give. And I'm just going to come off this because what I thought I'd do is use the voices that tally with your colours so that we just to avoid confusion. You probably have noticed by now that the 5 voices have different colours, but whenever I've come in and done stuff at Bible Society, I've kept to the colours of insights for simplicity's sake. So we'll do that today. So what are the 5 voices? You've got them here, and they represent 5 skill sets, 5 sets of skills. And brilliant reminder today, Claire said on the call before you came on, that reminder and that remembrance that we have all 5. You can do all 5 of these things. You can speak all 5 of these languages, but some are more natural to us than others. Some leave us feeling energized when we use them, and some will leave us feeling more drained. Doesn't mean we can't do them, but it probably isn't in our most natural skill set. So we're going to be reminded of what each of those voices brings. And I'm going to share some insights for each voice. So what I want you to be on the lookout now in this summary is which voice feels most resonant for me today. It might be your first voice, but if you're really familiar with your first voice or your first colour, it could be your second voice you want to dive into today. Or it could be a voice that isn't your natural voice, but you have someone in your team and you're trying to find keys to unlock the potential of that person and that team member. So you're going to be listening out now for the summary of what they bring and for a particular insight that you can help them to unlock for them. So that's the challenge. That's what we're looking out for. An insight for you, first or second voice in particular, or an insight for a team member if you're really familiar on the voices. So really quickly, quick whistle stop tour through. Nurturer, champion of people, relational harmony, and values. They hold the space for others. Who's the most important person to the nurturer? It's the person right in front of them right now. If you're lucky enough to have some really close nurturers to you, you'll know that they make you feel like the most important person in the room. They're never looking over your shoulder to see who else is more interesting. They're absolutely focused. It's their happy place is to be one-to-one. If they go to a party, they could spend 5 hours in the corner just talking to that one person and making sure that that person feels understood, feels known. It's such a powerful, important skill, and we love it. And organisations that have healthy nurturers in them grow. So that colour green is a reminder. You can see the first aid kit top right. They're always giving practical help and support to each person in their team. If they're not careful, they can burn out. So what are the insights for those nurturer voices, that beautiful voice that we love so much? Here they are. If you're a nurturer or you want to focus on the nurturer voice today, feel free to take a screen grab of these insights that you can refer to in the breakout room shortly. But here are some of the insights for the nurturers. I'm not going to go through them all now. I'm just going to highlight one of them. Number 6, people trust your judgment and genuinely want to hear your opinion. Use that as a springboard for influence. You can speak the truth kindly. It's so powerful when a nurturer starts to speak the truth and moves beyond that tendency to just say what people want to hear, but start to give feedback, start to disagree occasionally, because you do it nicely, you do it kindly, and people would much rather you did that than someone else who isn't quite so kind. So nurturers stepping into that role could be one for you. That's the nurturer voice. Okay. Next up, we're thinking about the creative. The creative is the champion of future ideas, innovation, and organizational integrity. So they're always thinking, how could things be better? What can we do that has never been done before? What is the original idea? And you can see the telescope is their symbol. That's because they're always looking into the future, thinking, where are we going? What's coming? They see dangers and opportunities long before anyone else. And therefore, you've got to hear your creative voices in order to build something that isn't just going to be relevant now, or if you're talking about advertisements, this Christmas, but it's going to be resonant for the rest of the year and into the years ahead as well. The creative is the champion of organizational integrity. They're most likely to leave a team or an organization if what you say you are doesn't match up with what you do. It's really important to them that we are on brand in belief as well as in action as well. So what are the creative insights? Again, take a screen grab if this is you or the one you want to focus on today. And here's the one I want to highlight for you. Number 7, people are not deliberately ignoring your ideas. It's hard to truly hear a creative. Why? Because communication is not their best suit. If you're a good communicator, then creative probably isn't your first. It might be your second, tucked away beneath another voice. For creatives, they find it hard to explain what they have built within. And it can feel a bit like disjointed when it comes out. We need patience to draw out the creatives on our team to truly hear their ideas. And if it's you, you can ask, can I have another go at explaining that, please? All creators will have had a time when they have felt like literally tumbleweed has gone through the room. They've shared an idea. So what about the next one? And that's the Guardian. And the Guardian is the champion of due diligence, resources, efficient systems, and processes. Just put my do not disturb on because my neighbour is ringing me. So what can we do with the Guardian, and how can we make sure that they feel seen and they feel heard? Well, they are the people who like to dot the I's and they like to cross the T's. They like everything to be in order and they dislike it if things suddenly change. So we can make sure that they know where they're going and they know what is required of each day. They have a shield as a symbol because they are a protector of systems and processes. They are brilliant stewards of resources and their pet hate is waste. They hate to waste anything at all. So what could we see to be their insights? Here we are. So you can do a grab if this is you or if you want someone in your team to be empowered. Number 7, we're going to pick out again. Your team know you are competent. Do they know you care? When the Guardian asks their questions, or when the Guardian spends time on a spreadsheet, they are showing their love. They are sharing who they are and they are worshipping God. But it's really important, however, that the team actually knows that as well, that that's the case. So what about the connector voice? Let's go back up here and have a little look at it. The connector is the champion of relational networks, internal collaboration, and effective communication. They always like to use stories and inspiration in order to tell people what their vision is. They know inherently that we can only move forward and win if everybody contributes, and they don't want to win unless we're all on board. So they are brilliant at sharing vision as well. They can only sell the things that they truly believe in. Here are the insights for the connector, and here's what I'm going to focus on, number 5. When you speak, complete your sentences and stay focused on one idea at a time. I've spent some time this week doing interview preparation for people in the sixth form who are heading towards interviews, just volunteering at my son's school. And that's something that I'd noticed with the really good candidates is I ask them a question, they develop their answer, and then they stop. And they don't say or at the end. And that's really important. Connectors can always see a connection with what they've said with something else, but just to close it down briefly, thinking about chapters in a book can be a very helpful tool indeed. Okay, what about the pioneer? Before we come on to their insights, let's think about the pioneer. And they are the champions of strategy, strategic vision. They're results focused and problem solving as well. So the pioneer helps us to know how we can draw up that space from reality So vision, where do you want to get to? Where are we now? The pioneer can align people and resources to make sure we can get to that outcome. So that's really important for them. Their symbol is that flag there because they always love to take ground and do things that haven't been done before. When they interact with the other voices, we get this amazing synergy of moving things forward. The guardians and the nurturers, they make up the majority of the population, and they are carefully building the people and the systems to make sure that the vision is seen and that things are good and healthy. The connector's joining everyone up, and the creative is seeing ahead the future, and the pioneer says, here's how we're going to make it there. So here are the insights for the pioneer voice. And here's what I'm going to pick. Number 4. Only 7% of people view the world through the pioneer's eyes. Remember, winning is not the driving motivation for most people. So if you're with someone who's a pioneer or who seems to be driving you towards the win all the time and you don't share that, let them know. That blow their mind by saying not everybody wants to win all the time. So once more, back to the 5 voices role map. Which of these voices today do you need to be aware of, either in your voice order or in the voice orders of a team member or someone close to you at this time? Which voice do you perhaps want to spend more time getting to know or being more intentional about? So I'm going to before I stop the share, would anyone like to see another slide again, or do you have any questions to clarify? Everyone happy? Did you manage to get the screen grabs you wanted? Great. Okay, wonderful. So no questions. We can get the breakout rooms ready, Claire, if that's okay. Is anyone in the same room that we don't know about?
Me and Matt.
Yeah.
You and Matt. Claire, is that all right? Does that scupper your pairings?
Who was in the same room?
Matt and Rachel can be together if that's okay. If you can do a
That's fine.
swap.
I'll just have to do a little swapsy. Give me a.
No problem. Okay, so who's going to be focusing on themselves today? And that's the first place you need to go. And great. All of you, brilliant. So deep dive yourself. Which voice needs your attention? Claire, you can just send them when you go. I'm going to just dribble on unless anyone's got any questions. And who, not literally dribble. I did have some cake just before you came in, but I think I'm good. So which of those voices need your attention and which insights do you need to think about today? Share with the other person, have a bit of a chat. We'll see you on the other side.
2, I think I tend to sort of lean towards wanting to work and not try and mix social and work at the same time. So I think that's where maybe I could grow a bit in letting them know that I care, because a lot of those like little conversations right before meetings start are often where people actually express, I don't know, they talk about random stuff, but I think that is a way that people show that they care about each other.
Really good. What I'm hearing there, Noelle, are your guardian categories. That's one of your strengths. You're really good at seeing that this is work and that's play, and those are 2 different separate categories. And that can be really useful at times for keeping things on track and for keeping focus as well. But I imagine Kate, as a connector, first voice, it's different. You don't have a natural appreciation of categories. You have a natural appreciation. It's a huge strength for how things flow between each other and how things are connected. Is that right? And how does that affect your life?
It just feels like a lot of chaos most of the time because so when I do the insights profile, actually, Laura, I think I've said before, I'm actually a blue yellow, so I'm actually like the irrational combo. And so I'm not terrible at guardian type work. Like I can do all the processes and the systems. So it's really hard for me because I'll be like, oh, I can deep dive, but I also want to I think they call it like scuba diving and snorkeling. So I kind of want to do the both. I like the big overview, but I also like getting into the detail. So it's quite exhausting, to be honest, because it's a lot of code switching between the 2. But yeah.
And did you pick a particular insight, Kate, to focus on?
I went again with what you said because I'm like, yeah, that's so me. When you speak, complete your sentences and stay focused on one idea at a time. And for me, even that was like actually 2 separate things, like finish things and do one thing at a time. So for me, I'm a terrible completer. There's like a new shiny thing happening and I can get really excited about it. Just want to move on to the next thing. And yeah, and then just stay focused on one thing at a time. And I was just saying how for me that looks like blocking out time in my diary because I know I'm really bad at focusing and it can lead to a lot of overwhelm because I look at my to-do list and I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah.
I block things out and I prioritize time for focus because it's hard.
Good. That sounds like a good idea to do that. I promise I didn't pick specific insights for specific
You
people.
did. That was me. That is
I
Kate
picked them
Page.
at random. Katie, how about you?
So my first voice is nurturer.
Hmm.
And I chose to focus on number 3, which was people chose you to lead because they believe in you, act knowing that you belong. Because
Wow.
I'm so bad at that. Because I am so self-destructive, it's unreal, to the point where I get such imposter syndrome in all areas of life. And I don't genuinely know how to stop it because it's almost
You're
like
brilliant, Katie.
oh, it's so lovely. It's like hardwired into
Mm.
your brain, or my brain, to question myself all of the time. And one of the best pieces of advice, which I probably need to just have like written on my desktop background or something, was my dad said to me when I was first getting into like leadership in design. He said to me, look at the evidence.
Yes.
I was like,
Love
I need
that.
to put that like on my office wall.
Yes.
So when I do have a moment where I doubt myself or something, I can be like, well, have I, how have I got to where I've got to now? Like, what's the evidence that's led it there? But I'm so bad at remembering things like that. But I know that I need to work on it because I need to be able to stand firm on my decisions for things and not question it just because I said to the guys in the group, it's not even necessarily because somebody has disagreed with it. I might just perceive body language as they don't agree with me. And I need to stop doing that because I need to trust myself and my instinct a bit more. I'm
Absolutely.
going to work on that one.
That's right. I mean, I was writing down your quote. I was writing down what is the evidence and highlighting it with my highlighter. But you might have thought that I was doodling or I was distracted with what's happening next. So very good. So it's actually being able to find a way to get out of your own way there. And imposter syndrome is the name for a reason. I love that. Okay, hold that thought. We're going to come to action next soon. Di, how about you?
Well, we didn't really kind of engage fully in the question. We were kind of doing a little bit of background around it, but I did find the 5 voices super helpful. I think one reflection that I did have was off the back of working with someone who I think is a creative. And I was kind of seeing lots of myself in him. So I was working on a project with, so basically he was the kind of videographer, editor, my recent piece that I've done. And he was basically communicating. I can't really communicate to you what it's going to look like, but I can tell you it's going to be good. So leave me alone. I can either spend this whole time explaining to you exactly what it's going to be, or you can trust me with it that the finishing product, is going to be good. And I think I see elements of myself in him, I think. And because we've worked together, because I know his personality, I just kind of gave him a real freedom and space to deliver. So there was real trust there, which is good. And I think I'm a bit of a paradox in that, like it's what I do is communication. And so in one sense, I think that's something that, it is a gift that I do well. But then sometimes communicating something that I'm still working through. It's that kind of process piece that I'll have confidence that the idea is going to work, even if it's not fully formed. And I think when I'm sharing something that's not fully formed, I think that's where it's that kind of creative. And I think people are kind of learning, or to sort of trust that the delivery is going to land well. But it can be a challenge. So it's this weird kind of paradox for me, really, of how can I be a great communicator but maybe a terrible communicator all in one? I don't know.
No, you can definitely. So are those the 2 voices you resonate most highly with, Di? Connector and creative. They're the 2 I've heard you just mention there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I assume there was a bit of Pioneer in there as well.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah, that can be your third. Yeah.
I think I don't really identify with the sort of personality of Pioneer as much. I think there's a kind of like a vision, maybe a personality.
Yes.
So probably Nurturer from personality perspective would be the third.
Mm-hmm. Good. And I think that that's absolutely right. And that's what I hear from other connector creatives. When your connector is first, then you can be a highly inspirational communicator. Absolutely. But your creative second is your introverted ideation. And that can be harder sometimes to pull out.
Yeah.
And it always helps to have a bit of a practice if you need to pitch something and you want absolute clarity. It definitely helps to have a place you can do that and refine the idea particularly when it comes from within yourself. But what's lovely is your team member you'll be able to understand him better than a lot of other people will because you have a second creative voice.
Yeah, for sure. I just really enjoyed how Zoom just wanted to really do a close-up as you were talking to me. Yeah, please continue talking, Laura.
Yeah,
as
I felt like I had your full attention. Right, Rachel, over to you. Rachel?
Yeah, so me and Matt looked at the creative voice about being able to articulate clearly.
Yes.
And we also felt it was tied into that perfectionist one, the number one.
Yeah.
Because you're so worried about, you want to say it correctly, you want to get it right, but you can end up not saying it at all.
Very good. Excellent.
Cool.
And you can both relate to that, can you? Matt,
Absolutely.
you as well?
Yeah, I can as well. It sort of it makes it it takes more time to write down or practice what you want to articulate in a meeting or a presentation or whatever it may be, or even writing something to send out. It all plays a part in that, and it's just it makes things more challenging, and you also question yourself as part of that as well. You talk about imposter syndrome. I don't know if there's any sort of link there somewhere between the two, because you question yourself: is it right? Is what you wrote correct? Are you telling porcupines? Are you embellishing it a little bit too much?
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So is that a voice order that you sort of resonate with, Matt? Because I've got you as a guardian, and would it be creative next?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then for you, Rachel, connector creative. So that's a point of reference for the two of you in your conversation, is that creative second voice can come through loud and clear. Okay, there's quite a few of us then talking about creative and being interested in it. So let's go through a worked example now of what it looks like to drop down into core process from an idea or an insight that we have acknowledged is with us. So look at number one down here, our tendency. So the perfectionist desire not to share something until it's perfect is because of a fear it would undermine confidence in you or your competence. That's what Matt has just mentioned. Imposter syndrome. If I say it now, people might write me off. And then that leads to this action. You develop a pattern of withholding drafts, ideas, and work for a long time, and you're waiting to get it perfect. Now, what impact does that have? Well, you communicate less and fail to invite collaboration until late in the project or process, too late for anyone else to pitch in. And then the consequence that has is that your lack of communication causes people to worry, doubt your competence or work ethic. Often you are too late to give key input so people can then react and contribute. The reality that happens as a result is that your colleagues doubt your skill or commitment, which fuels their fears, frustrations or bitterness, and creates a negative reputation for you. It can look as though the creative hasn't done their work, and that can be really triggering for other teammates who've been working hard and been getting on with all the output. Well, what have you been doing? But actually you have been working, you've been doing a lot, but you just haven't been sharing your updates. So what can we do if we can recognize that that's the tendency and that is the impact of that tendency, which is undermining your influence? Well, we can drop into the core process tool. What have we called a perfectionist tendency? And we've owned it. I am withholding drafts, and that is having an impact on the team. It's not that they're nasty. It's not that they don't get me. It's not that they're not very creative enough, although they might not be as creative as I am. But it's that I am not giving them the information they need in order to have to trust me and to get their bit done. Okay, so that's know yourself work. That's the self-awareness work that's so hard to do, but it's so valuable. Once we've got that, what am I doing or not doing that is contributing to this problem? We can then respond. So what's the response from this? I'm looking to any of you who've mentioned the creative voice to take yourself off mute and have a go. What might be a good response? Go on, have a go. There's no right or wrong.
Sharing is caring.
Excellent. Sharing is caring.
Claire.
Very
I was
succinct.
muted.
I muted him, but he got in there.
What
But
did
it's
you
basically
say?
the same. I was going to say very much the same. Is having confidence to share your thoughts at an early stage.
Excellent. Now, you don't have to declare it as the finished article, but you can share a draft version with all the caveats that you may need to say. Okay, guys. So why not help yourself? And instead of saying, right, the deadline is in 3 weeks, see you then, giving yourself a weekly check-in point along those 3 weeks period. So there's 3 weekly, and just agree, I am going to tell you, I'm going to hold myself accountable, or team hold me accountable, but please be kind. I'll tell you where I'm up to with this thing, but don't treat it as though it is as finished. Don't start critiquing it yet. Celebrate it with me. Tell me what's good about it so far, and help me and give me one thing that you think I need to be aware of for next week's continuation of the preparations. That makes sense. Tell them. This is what we can do when we own it. We can go, I am going to ask for what I need. So if someone starts to go in with critique, no, hang on. Before you give me a bit of feedback that can help me improve, can you tell me what's good? Can we celebrate? So you can take control of what happens next and of what happens at those check-in points. Execution will be putting the dates in the diary for those 3 check-ins. Execution might be, always a next step. It might be talking to your team about what you're going to do differently, setting expectations for that team member who's doing this, that's what you want from them. You're not going to leave them to just put their head underground for 3 weeks, but you're going to start asking them to check in on a weekly basis just with a draft, and we promise not to critique straight away. We promise to celebrate before we critique. So that's what that will involve. Okay, any questions? What I want you to do now in your breakout, back in the same great breakouts, is try to get to a next step. So use core process to get to a next step with the insight that you picked. Okay, are we ready? Thank you. Rachel and Matt, we're coming to you first. Did you get to a next step? Rachel and Matt.
We are muted.
No, but yeah, we're unmuted.
Yes. We come to a couple, but I'll take one, you take the other. So
Okay, great.
one thing I picked up on is taking the time to listen more rather than going straight in with conversation, opinion, or whatever it may be. And we were just talking about the fact that we went to a couple of different strands, to be fair. I suppose there's that piece about being like a senior leader, if you like, and the thought process that you need to be the one contributing maybe more in the meeting and leading it more. Whereby, if you sit back and listen a lot more, you not only understand a lot more about the people they're speaking and what they're saying, and you actually hear more about the person and the undercurrents of what's going on, more than you would if you're talking more.
Excellent.
And yeah, and the part of being a good leader is literally that, is sitting back and listening, let other people be at the front where needs be, and let other people shine and listen.
Love it. So you're 3/4 of the way there because you've decided how you want to show up differently, and that's a response. How are you going to make sure that you execute on that? What's something specific you can do?
Duct tape for the first 3 quarters of the meeting.
Brilliant, love it.
No, I think it's this self-conscious, self-aware of practicing that more.
Yes. So in the moment, having a phrase you can use,
Yeah.
like the one we often use is tell me more, or what else? So having a phrase you can use that you literally write it at the top of the agenda for the meeting to remind you to say it. I've got another client that she makes an L with her finger and thumb, and the L is liberate. who can I liberate here? The L is don't get in my own way, don't speak too much. My goal in this meeting is to liberate others. So she makes an L because she's always got a hand with her in every meeting. So having something specific can be really helpful. Or maybe there's someone that you want to say, can you keep me accountable on how much I draw others out? And can you let me know, please, if I'm not doing it, or if I'm doing a good job? Give me a thumbs up or a kind of thumb like that. So empower someone. Something specific you can do to make sure that you execute that. Matt, that's brilliant. Rachel, what was yours?
To have 3 key points that I want to get across,
Yeah,
so that I can just focus in on those. And
great.
Yeah,
To stop you.
because I get like a total mind blank, or something like that when and you can't say what you want to say. I was saying to Matt earlier, I want a sign that says what he said.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't come out how I want it to come out, and then somebody else will say it and you think, yeah, that was it.
Brilliant. So again, I can think of someone else who scripts sentences that they want to say when they're communicating something. They have an exact sentence they have scripted in advance. I think that's a really clever, and I've used that. It's a really clever way of doing it. So can you see a meeting coming up, Rachel, where you're going to try that out? Is there something in your diary the next week or two where you think I'm going to do that for that
No, I'm off
particular meeting?
a lot in the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, make sure you schedule it in then for January.
But we're doing videos, so I would say when I'm doing some videos, I want to do it.
Okay, great. Well done. Love that. Katie Time, we're coming to you next.
I thought it's a hard thing to catch because it's sort of just in my brain, but I think because I'm also quite blue, it's my second voice. I like to have a practical thing I can do, like things I can check off and stuff. So I thought, if I'm in a meeting and I'm asked an opinion and I'm on the spot, because that's probably where it happens more, because I've not had time to really think it through because I'm blue, I could give my opinion, but then after the call, just quickly make a note of the reasons why I gave that opinion. So that I then don't second guess myself afterwards. Why did I say that? Am I right? I just quickly after the call write down, this is why you said what you said, because you know that this is the case, this is the based on knowledge or whatever. And then I don't have to feel like I can just rationalize it to myself.
Brilliant. So the when, execution's always associated with when. The when is immediately after the meeting. Okay, so how are you going to make sure you get into that rhythm as well? So be thinking, where can I put it? Have I got somewhere I can put that? And can I make sure my schedule isn't back to back 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock meetings, but actually there's a 5-minute interlude or a 10-minute interlude for me to be able to do that bit.
Help as well. If someone comes back and asks me down the line, did you suggest that?
Yes, very good.
Have a note.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful, Katie. I love it. Let's go next to Kate P.
I didn't get into a very good call process. But I think, I'm sorry, let me just pull my notes back up. Yeah, I didn't. We spent a lot of time talking about the other ones, and then I thought I only had 30 seconds left, so I didn't really launch into anything. But I think that I was just saying, like, I mean, for me, it's as simple as just finishing off things that are on my to-do list. So I've got, I feel like I'm making steps towards it. So I've got a better system now for where I track my projects. And I think that for me, by the end of the year is a good time. Like there's a bunch of things I need to have like checked off my list and or just checked off permanently, as you're never going to happen. Because I think part of the tension for me is that my 27 good ideas just hang around indefinitely. They never happen.
Very good.
So
Very
for
good.
me, I think like an end of year wrap up is something that I'm going to work towards to like cross things off the list, see
Love
what
it.
I'm taking through to next year and leave the rest behind.
Love it. So have your checklist, but also grab a highlighter and highlight your priorities. That can be something connectors can find helpful, because priorities don't always come naturally to connectors because everything's important.
On there.
Wonderful. So you can get those things ticked off. Love it. Noelle, quickly from you.
I talked about sort of remembering the value in like small social things, and also just being intentional with them. So we talked a little bit about some advice I got from my old boss, Tom. He used to say that when he would come into the office, he would say hi to every single person on his team before he sat down. Just I think little things like that will be helpful for me because I'm so like focused on work when I'm at work that I think I just need to be intentional and sort of breaking out of that a bit more.
I love it, Noelle. So make it the task.
Yeah.
Make saying hello to everybody the work. Make it the task.
Yeah.
And that can be really effective as well. But I love that. I love that you came up with that yourself. Di, what have you got?
Can that be work? Can that be work for me as well, Laura? Just talking to people. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can that be my to-do list? Yeah, so we kind of went off script a little bit, but really helpful stuff. I think I'm still sort of processing, but I think to try and catch it in a nutshell, yeah, trying to sort of flip the script and see challenges as opportunities.
Brilliant. Claire, that's Claire's speciality. She's brilliant at that. Claire, last word from you. Anything to remind us of?
Really quickly wanted to say, Katie, when you were talking previously, I didn't want to interrupt at the time, but when you were saying about your intuition, and this will apply to everybody, if you notice something and you think that someone has sort of thought you were wrong, like ignore that bit. If you notice that someone has a reaction, don't ignore the fact that you have that intuition, but they might not necessarily be right, if that makes sense. Because I think particularly with nurturers, your intuition, I don't want you to like second guess your intuition, because I think that's really important for us. But just because they have a reaction, it doesn't mean that they're right.
And they might just have a funny face because they break a wind, but they don't want to know about it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Thank you, Claire.
So good. Be curious. It's curiosity. Oh, that was interesting, that reaction. And we have to do that as a coach. We get trained in how to read a room and notice what people do when you're saying certain things rather than thinking exactly like it's not a right or wrong scenario. Claire, that's such gold. Thank you for sharing that. Everybody, I love this group. You've just brought so much. Thank you for the space you're holding for one another. And each time you decide on one small pattern change, you're just taking ground for yourself and your teams and your families as well. So 2 more tools for next time. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.